This is Biafra Oracles. Now, please help me welcome our information minister and listen very carefully and learn. He has a lot to tell us in this broadcast. He has a lot. He has said a lot and he has a lot. So I invite you to sit down, listen, and relax and enjoy yourself. Make sure you learn something. Make sure you learn something. Don't be those who listen and never learn.
Celebrate them.
Make
And
sure
our heroes living, we celebrate them as we continue to fight on to see restore. He said, I bring you warm greetings from this end, and to you all wherever you are, greetings, greetings, greetings. As you join, do well to welcome others and invite them in. We salute our leaders that have lived before us, our leaders that are in prison, our heroes that are in the battlefield, and Biafrans that are paying the price of freedom on a daily basis in the homeland. We salute your sacrifices, we salute your courage, we salute your tenacity, your consistency, your sacrifices, and everything you've done. And we say, may the God of Biafra continue to give you the strength so that we move on. We must continue to press on and to pressure those that imprisoned our leaders to be released. It's not going to be easy. That is why there must be an active government with an active leader so that we can hold those that have done us the evil accountable. We salute our PM, His Excellency Honorable Okechukwu Nkere, with his entire cabinet, the de facto in the homeland, the BDF, and all Biafrans that are putting their hands together to make sure we move forward. Thank you all, and we must continue. For us to hold Nigeria accountable, the only way out is for us to continue what we are doing in Washington, D.C., and also in the homeland, speaking loudly on a daily basis. The cry is increasing, and we can tell you that the cry will become very loud in the coming days. What they are going through is what they never thought would be coming. But the truth is that it has come to stay, because there is a new sheriff in town and there is a shift in the way things are being done. We appreciate the existence of President Donald Trump for allowing himself to be used by the God of creation to do what is needed for the Christians in Nigeria that have been massacred for years, to do what is needed for all Christians in Nigeria to have a separate state. Because if Donald Trump did not do what he has done so far, Christians will have no hope. But with how far we have engaged the US government and the policies that they have put in place, the Magnitsky Accountability Act, which we told and petitioned them to invoke against Nigeria, which has been implemented, you can see that We've been able to put Nigeria under international pressure. We Nigeria sees international and political isolation where it matters most. As the 178 Christians, babies, women, and children that were kidnapped in Kaduna Church, but do you know what will shock you? What will shock you is what I will bring to the screen. That is why I started by playing the message from our Supreme Leader, who said, if we stop what we are doing, our people will echo it. If we stop what we are doing, our people will die. If we stop what we are doing, our babies, women, and children will see them no more. They will never go home. There will be no hope for us to see a home again. If we stop what we are doing, they'll take over our communities. If we stop what we are doing, the jihadist terrorists that you are seeing in the far north will be flying in Biafra land. in the homeland. We have a defense mechanism. And if we stop what we are doing, all our babies, women, and children will die. The terrorists will come down and cut all of them to pieces. And nobody will do anything about it because the leaders we already have in Biafra land that have put their legs into Nigerian politics, they either collect money to see that all our babies, women, and children are cut to pieces, than for them to go against the terrorist deal. They will sign memorandum of understanding for the terrorists to be deployed to our homes so that we will be butchered to pieces while the terrorists take over. And then they will give them political position, appointments and offices, allocations, and more money. Red and brown and yellow and white envelopes will be the order of the day to them. If we stop what we are doing, all our babies, women, and children will die. That is why the US president, listening to us, listening to our cries as Christians, listening to the religious persecution happening in one Nigeria, which we've done so much to see that it is brought to its table in 2025, has allowed the news to be heard in the American Congress. We've done so well to make sure it is being heard in our own dispensation. That is why you see that the life of soldiers, taxpayers' money, just to make sure he do all he can to save the Christians in Nigeria. What else could you ask of President Donald Trump? If you have been butchered and massacred, your communities have been invaded for years, and even the presidency and the governors of Nigeria and the Senate, they pay them and they order for the release of the terrorists whenever they have come to kill you. Nobody held them accountable. It only President Donald Trump. Only American government is doing it in our time. The 176 Christians that were kidnapped in Kaduna Church have not regained their freedom. They have not been released. But what did you get from the terrorists that kidnapped them? They have given a mandate. They gave a message to the federal government of Nigeria that they must give them 28.9 million naira for the loss of their motorcycles before they even start to talk about the ransom. Are you getting the message? Before they even start to talk about how much ransom will be paid to get these Christians back. This is done on the backing of the Nigerian state. And I'm going to play you a few videos for you to understand what is actually going on. We've gone past the time of awareness and struggle. When you listen to our Supreme Leader, he said, if we stop agitating, our babies, women, and children will all be killed. We have gone past the stage of agitation. We are in liberation. We are in recognition mode. We are in restoration mode. That is where we are now. And that is why every Biafran should get ready, because you're going to hit the street of Biafra in a massive protest of what? Eviction. Eviction of one Nigeria in Biafra land. Get ready for the eviction protest. It is not agitation protest. It is not awareness protest. It is eviction protest. The people of Iran engage their institutions. The people of Nepal did their own, and you all sat down and clapped for them. You saw how they took over their lost glory. You saw how they restored their dignity, and they now have a life. If you continue to gnash your teeth, to cry and lament and complain, the terrorists will still come into your communities and kidnap you and kill you the next day. And then the next week, they will release a memo demanding 100 million naira from your useless government. How did they have the idea of kidnap and demand for ransom? Kidnap and demand for ransom, because the Nigerian government already gave them the template. The template has been spread out to them already. It is a strategy. When you kidnap, you collect money. We use it for ransom. When you kidnap, you collect money. We use it for ransom. So this is the situation we find ourselves. And we cannot let it go in Biafra land. That is why we are reminding you of this message as we continue.
And as long as we remain determined and focused, there is no way they will ever succeed. Never. If you stop now agitating for Biafra, those who left back home will die.
Never. How many of you have remained determined since Onyendu was kidnapped? How many of you have remained determined and focused and consistent on supporting the Biafra freedom since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped? If there were no people that remained determined and sacrificed their lives, put their lives on the line, will they have been a remnant of Biafra today for you to talk about? If there have been no Biafran who took it upon themselves to observe, sit at home on every Monday without compulsion, and they say it is their sacrifice, it is their voice to make Nigeria know that they are holding our supreme leader. Even our supreme leader said they should stop sit at home. They said, no, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you are in prison. You cannot detect for us. If we stop this sit at home, you will be forgotten in that prison. So you can't stay in prison and detect for us because you are talking out of the fear of what you are being told to do from inside prison. It is the sit at home that is crippling Nigeria and making the world to be on notice and making one Nigeria to remember. And all their politicians to remember that they may be answering Nigerian politicians, but they are not in charge. Because the masses, the people of Biafra are in charge. And that is why they can declare sit at home, they observe it, they implement it, they enforce it when they want to enforce it, and you cannot do anything about it. It is their land. If you want to grumble about it, you can go to Kafanchan, you can go to Lagos, you can go to Abuja and grumble about it. But in Biafra land, the people of Biafra decide what they want and how it should be. How many of you have remained faithful and consistent in supporting Biafra since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped and since Mazi Simon Ekpa was in prison? If we stop what we are doing, all our women and children will be killed. They will be wiped out, just like you see what is happening in Benue, in Borno, in Kaduna, and Kano. Last month, it was in where? It was in Niger State. The other month of December, you saw many coming out from Plateau, Kano, Borno, Benue, and Sokoto. And the terrorists were bombed in Sokoto. Today, where are you hearing from? You are hearing from Kaduna Church. Kaduna Church. How did they come to be? If we stop funding our BDF, all our babies, women, and children will be in the hands of these terrorists. That is why you all must wake up and continue to do what you've been doing. Support BDF, support BRJ, so that the diplomatic and political work in Washington, D.C., which the Nigerian government are now crying about our handiworks, will continue. A big question to Tinubu and their government caliphate. Why has the $9 million lobbying you paid to the American lobbying group not stopped these terrorists from carrying out more genocide? Why? Why has the $9 million not stopped the genocide? Why has the $9 million not stopped the kidnapping? Why has the $9 million not stopped more killings? Why has the $9 million lobbying actually intensified the terrorists? Because the $9 million lobbying has actually intensified more kidnapping, more takeover of communities. It's something we need to understand. The meaning of the $9 million lobbying, was it that the terrorists will now ravage more communities? Was it that they will go and be lobbying in America, disguising that there is nothing happening, while the terrorists will now intensify? Was that the meaning of the $9 million lobbying? Let us see and remind you of how they came and how they have come to stay and how long and what you have to do. Now see how the terrorist government of the day recruits them and take care of them, and even when
Boji, where he was arrested while the other was picked up in Gusau.
Listen to this.
Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State explains that one of the suspected bandit leaders was traced to Boji, where he was arrested while the other was picked up in Gusau, and they were charged to court for prosecution. But the court granted them bail based on an order from some people in Abuja who had assured them that they would be released. The governor warned the judiciary to fear God and discharge their responsibilities with the utmost integrity and honesty for the collective interest of all the law-abiding citizens. He knows